Just soaking up a little of this, I don't know, this sunshine here, But with that being said, today's topic is going to be in the arms of my father. That's the topic for today, in the arms of my father. So we're going to be talking in regards to a young man being made a Mason on site. When I was at H.B.Turner Grand Lodge session last week, there was a young man by the name of Jalin Brown. Jalin Brown is a young man who's had some difficulties in life. He's had some difficulties in life. That is to say that he was not expected to be here with us. His life expectancy was short. But I can get the age wrong, but Jalin, I think, is almost 30 years old, if not 28, 29, somewhere along up in there. However, Jalin has exceeded the amount of time that the doctor said he had to live. And with that being said, his father became a Mason. And and there's a lot of activities that was going on and brothers visiting his dad and coming in and fellowshipping. So Jalin had the opportunity to interact with those men who came to his dad's home. And in the process, he developed himself a relationship with those very men. And saying that Jalin had the opportunity to see the men that his dad was dealing with. And in seeing those men, they developed a relationship, a bond. And I can truly say this is the process for which those who seek and want to be Mason, they find themselves in. They see men who are actually involved, who are doing the work. These men become their inspiration to become Masons. It doesn't matter your jurisdiction or what you may think, but these men who these young men see become their inspiration to become Masons. And Jalin, seeing the men who his father dealt with, he's seen the men who his father was interacting with and building relationships with. Jalin seen that. And in the process, I'm quite sure that Jalin himself yearned to be a Mason, but because of his handicap, because of his shortcomings and his physicalness, he didn't see that opportunity. He didn't see the opportunity. So greetings to everybody who's coming on. Greetings today. Today our topic is in the arms of my father. Our subject topic is about in the arms of my father. And I'm telling you the story of a young man by the name of Jalin who became a Mason on site. So with him becoming a Mason on site, there are certain protocols and procedures that has to take place. Excuse me, unbeknownst to his dad, who was at Grand Session, who had no idea that this was going to take place. His father had no clue. But those brothers who was in his lodge, those brothers who loved him dearly, those brothers who were there with him at this point in his life, seeing his son, the Grand Master seeing his son, and they wanted to bring his son in. They wanted to show the same admiration for the dad for the son. And with that being said, on last week, I want to say Friday, May 29th, something like that. On last weekend, Grandmaster Andre Jones, the Grand Master of the most wishful H.B.Turner Grand Lodge, Ancient Free and Accepted Masons out of Texas, did indeed relinquish his office of authority and gave that office of authority over to uh, Brother Brown. Brother Brown had no idea that this was happening. So what Grandmaster Jones did, he gave a extended lecture on how to make a mason on site. He gave the example. He was breaking it down in detail on what's supposed to take place before a individual is made a mason on site. So as we were sitting and listening to the lecture and how things are supposed to be in place, as Grandmaster was describing those things that goes in place, the brothers was adjusting and moving in such a way to make sure that those things were in place during the lecture. So at the same time he's giving this lecture, things are falling in place. Greetings everybody who's coming on. Today we're talking in regards to making a mason on site. Today's topic is in the arms of my father. So as Grandmaster was describing how to make a mason on site, the brothers was setting themselves up. They was putting themselves in position. As he was saying that in order to make a mason on site, you know, brothers needs to be inside of the lodge. You need to have this many brothers. You need to have this. And these brothers was putting themselves, and they was, they was doing their thing. And so as Grandmaster was exclaiming these things, and he called up Brother Brown, who had no clue. Greetings. Cybersecurity, how you doing? Greeting, Brother Muhammad, how you doing? He called up Brother Brown. Brother Brown was like, oh, okay. So he came up as if Grandmaster Jones was just including him into the lecture, which he was. He was including him into the lecture. So they was talking and going back and forth. And then they was talking about how to give honors and how the, just the different nuances that goes into making a mason on site. So Brother Brown was coming up to the east where Grandmaster was at, and they began to conversate in regards to the lecture that was given. Greetings, everybody. And so Grandmaster Andre Jones was talking about the Grandmaster having a gavel of authority, and he can do these things because it was his prerogative. And he was talking about the written laws and the unwritten laws and how one should be made a mason on site and what's the protocol and procedures of going through making a mason on site and all of that. He's going back and forth. So he called up Brother Brown. Brother Brown came to the east. He said, Brother Brown, and when he called up Brother Brown, he came up, he looked. As he looked at Brother Dre, there was a knock at the door. And Brother Andre Jones, Grandmaster, said, attend the alarm. And he tended the alarm. He said, there's a brother at the door who wants to enter the lodge. He said, well, who is he? He said, Brother Brown. He said, a Brown. He said, a Brown? Let him enter. So Brother Brown, the master mason, was up there with Grandmaster Andre Jones. He looked, he said, that's my son. He said, yeah, that's your son. Grandmaster Jones says, under authority, I'm going to relinquish my gavel to you as we make your son a mason here today. Here today. We're going to make your son a mason here today. This brother broke down in tears, and other brothers was beginning to cry because his brother, in some landmarks, in the old landmarks, you could not be a cripple and be a mason. You had to have all your limbs and to be a mason. In the old landmarks, if you're going to abide by the landmarks, we're talking about the old landmarks, right? So as Grandmaster gave the charge and gave the landmarks, and he did all of that, relinquished his authority as Grand Master and turned the gavel to Worshipful Master Brown to give the obligations, penalties, and all of that to his son, who now had walked to the altar and stood. Although he had his crutches, he stood up out of his chair, looked his dad up in his face, and his dad eyes full of tears, and the brothers of the craft is looking around full of tears, and everybody is kind of in a shock of what's taking place. Then his dad begins to read the obligation of the enter apprentice. Then his son receives the penalties of these obligations as an enter apprentice. And then as he proceeded to give him the signs, the tokens, the word, the grips of an enter apprentice. Then he proceeded to give him a lecture and breaking down the different nuances within the enter apprentice degree. From there, he moved into the middle chambers by 3, 5, and 7. He began to break down those things which was given to his son, after which he had bestowed the obligation of the fellowcraft upon his son. Then he went into the 3, 5, and 7 and told him and explained to him the middle chambers and the workings of why he's here now. Once he did that, then he placed his son in due form to be made a master mason. After him placing his hands upon the Holy Bible, the square, and the compass, and giving him the obligation of a master mason, and exclaiming to him this obligation that he's taken, that they are more regerate than the former two. And after receiving the penalty of his obligation and being raised from a dead level to a living perpendicular on the square, after he's done all of these things and bestowed those obligation, oaths, and penalties upon his son. Greetings, everybody. Out of the midst of the brothers, they came up and presented him with his Masonic collar and his Masonic apron. I would tell you there was not a dry eye in the building. Everybody's looking around and giving a standing ovation for this young man whom the doctors had said, you're not going to be here long with us. Letting him know that he's appreciated and he's loved by other brothers like himself. There are many times we've seen Masons, individuals being Masons on site. But for a father to take on the authority and give the obligations to his son, that's special. That's special. Fraternal greetings, gentlemen. Fraternal gentlemen's greetings. You know, yeah, man, I've been well. Today we're talking about in the arms of my father. I'm exclaiming what took place about a week ago in Chicago, in Texas, regarding a brother who was made a Mason on site under the authority of Grand Master Andre Jones out of Texas, most wishful H.B.Turner Grand Lodge. So, as this brother gave his son the obligations of the 3 degrees and him receiving the token word and explaining the working tools of these degrees, man, it was beautiful. It was not a dry eye in sight. Houston, Texas. We was over by the stadium. We was downtown Texas, I would imagine, over by the stadium. What's the name of that airport? It wasn't George Bush International. It was the other airport, Hobby. We wasn't far from Hobby, maybe about 10 minutes from Hobby, less than that. But anyway, we was over by the stadium, the football stadium over there. But anyway, with that being said, you know, it was amazing, man. It was beautiful to see this done in such a way to where The brothers of the craft welcome in this brother, this master mason's son, who they said that wasn't going to be around long. They brought him in. They bestowed upon him the oaths and obligation, the grips and signs of a mason. Brothers, sisters, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was well done, Grandmaster. That was well done, Brother Brown, for your son. That was beautiful. You had to be there to feel the intense love. You had to be there. Oh yeah, we was in Houston. You had to be there to feel the love. I'm just saying, it was a beautiful thing. It was amazing. It was beautiful. I don't have words to exclaim anything other than that. Anything other than that. So I would say this. I've heard a lot of talk and seen some things in my life, but that right there, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. When you have brothers of the craft there with you to bring your son into this brotherhood of Freemasons in the arms of my father. I mean, think of that. Your dad is giving you these grips and signs, brother. And after all of that was done, his father's giving him these grips and signs. And after all of that was done, that was freaking amazing. I came in late. What's wrong with the son? Well, the son had been diagnosed with some illness, and it was said that he wouldn't live long, but he exceeded the years that the doctor said he wouldn't live long, and he's close to 30 now. And I was exclaiming that the brothers often go over to his house and they sit around, they do study sessions, they visit, they do the things that brothers should be doing in assisting and aiding, whatever that looks like to them, whatever they're doing for that brother. But what happened is that in the process, they developed a relationship with the son. They developed a relationship with the son. And developing a relationship with the son, he was always around. When the brothers come knock at the door, the son is opening the door. He was the brother, the son was just always around. So I don't know, maybe I'm getting some bad feedback, but the son was always around. So, it was that thing. The son, he's still here. It was that thing. It was the love between a father and a son. So, with that being said, they made him a Mason on site about a week or so ago. And that was beautiful. His name was Jalin Brown, a young man out of Houston, Texas, who hadn't been given long to be here with us, but he exceeded that. God said something different. He exceeded that, and he's here with us. And now he's a Mason, and he was obligated by his father. He was, and that's a beautiful thing. Think about that. Your dad is giving you the obligations. Your dad is giving you the grips, the signs. Your dad is giving you the lectures on the Inter-Apprentice Fellowcraft. Your father is doing that. Your dad is doing that. What do you think of that? I'm just saying. What do you think of that? That's special. That's special. That's all I can say is that's special. Greetings, everybody who's coming in. Marquez, what's going on? I don't know, something. I keep bouncing off. I don't know what's happening with that. But greetings to everyone. I just got my morning exercise on, so I'm finishing up. Just decided to come in and share with you in regards to this story that what took place. And I wanted to share with you how it took place and when it took place. And it was beautiful, I came in late. What's wrong with the son? Yeah, he was just, he was a kid who was born with some defects, and they wanted to make him a Mason on site, and they did that. It was beautiful. It was totally beautiful. Welcome in, Jarvis Davis. How you doing, there, bruh? They made him a Mason on site. It was beautiful. It was well done. It was done according to the ancient customs, and that was beautiful. It was done in such a way to the brothers of the craft. I mean, everybody had a tear in their eye. I'm telling you, everybody had a tear in their eye. And you can't knock that. You cannot knock that. And I would say to Jalin, the young brother who's made a Mason on site, my heart goes out to you. It was a pleasure to see you, to greet you, and to grip you. It was a pleasure. Everybody walked by, gave him a hand, gave him that grip, and it was just beautiful, man. When you get an opportunity to see something like that in life, share it. Share it. When you get the opportunity to see something like that in life, share that opportunity, share that moment, because you never know when it's going to come again. You don't know when it's going to come again. And I would tell you that was freaking amazing. I enjoyed it, everything about it. I sure did. And I think most of us miss that. I really, really do. I think most of us miss it. How's it going? Oh, took a yawn, man. Go get some breakfast in a minute. I'm gonna go get some breakfast. It's a nice day out. It's just June, it's just what they call June gloom, a little cloudy. Hopefully later on today the clouds will dissipate, burn off. The sun will begin to show its radiant and beauty. So that's our conversation for the day. What's going on, everybody? I appreciate you tuning in here. Greetings, the greetings to everybody. Let me see who all we got in here. The monk, what's happening with you, the monk? Cyber security, what's going on? CJ Breezy, #1, what's happening with you? I would tell everybody, man, and I keep saying it, when you appreciate Freemasonry, it is a beautiful thing. It is. It is a beautiful thing when you can appreciate Freemasonry. It's when you don't appreciate Freemasonry that it becomes ugly, you know. That's what happens with that, you know. But we have the opportunity to do something great. Do it. When you have the opportunity to do something great, do it. Don't sit by and allow an opportunity of greatness to pass you by. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. So this is the conversation for today. In the arms of my father, as this young man was made a Mason on sight by his dad, upon the authority of the Grand Master, who relinquished his authority to the brother to do the works. That was beautiful. That was totally beautiful. She'll probably come to the door and grab it. I said she'll come to the door and grab it. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Yeah, that was totally beautiful. I'm just saying, never pass up those opportunities. So look, everybody, as always, fraternal greetings. What's going on, Jerry? I'm only here for a short amount of time, because I got some stuff I got to do today. I'm off today, sitting out here trying to grab a little, I don't know, daylight. Grabbing a little daylight. I just want everyone healing from King Solomon Lodge 15514. Greetings. Glad to have you here. I want everyone who entered the doors of Freemasonry to enjoy Freemasonry. I want you to enjoy all the rights and privileges that Freemasonry has to offer you where you're at. Plain and simple. Nothing more, nothing less. Because it's going to meet your needs. It's going to meet your needs. That's for sure. That's real talk. So look, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming on today. Whatever you do, remember this: I'm not your study guide, but I am here to help you study. Keep your light on, stop the bushes. Take that trial and spread the semen of brotherly love. And if you are a member of the Order of the Eastern Star, may your star shine brightly until it is no longer able to shine anymore. Until next time, peace and be well.